Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us in this extremely important webinar event about trending careers for Gen Z, go-to-market skills for 21st century jobs. And I would like to present, to open this webinar event tonight, our President David A. Armstrong, President of St. Thomas University, to give us some introductory remarks about this event. President Armstrong.
Welcome everyone to a very special presentation for Trending Careers for Gen Z. We have three programs that people are going to talk to you about tonight: fashion merchandising, sports management, and business data analytics. These are phenomenal programs that we believe are going to be key programs for the 21st century. And remember, we're talking about getting that education and then going on into the workforce. And at St. Thomas University, experiential learning is a requirement for graduation. And in these three programs, that experiential learning requirement is going to be very important to what you do. Co-ops, internships, study abroad, service learning, apprenticeships in your field before you graduate. You're going to get wonderful information tonight. We have wonderful professors who have very exciting and invigorating programs. They're going to put you out there into the real world for success so you can become an ethical leader for life. God bless everyone, and go Bobcats.
Thank you very much, President Armstrong, for joining us in this webinar event. And now I would like to introduce our Academic Dean of St. Thomas University, Luis Fernandez, that he will provide us with some remarks for this event. Dean Fernandez.
Thank you, Professor Rocha, and thank you for being the host of this wonderful webinar and information session about careers for the future. St. Thomas University is really stepping up into the new careers that we know are going to be part of the future. There is a saying that what you're learning right now is for a career that has not been created or has not been invented yet. And that is exactly true for a couple of the careers that we're going to present here today. Business data analytics and the data analytics field, nobody knew about this field 15, 20 years ago. Now, this is a field that is certainly going to translate into the future. Fashion merchandising has been around as a field for a little bit, but not as big as it's becoming right now with globalization. And this is a field that will certainly continue to expand. And St. Thomas University is positioning itself as going to be a leader in South Florida in that career. Furthermore, sports management, we were the pioneers with a bachelor's degree in sports management in the 70s. We continue to be the pioneers, and we are in front of everybody else in careers in sports management. Our graduates are in many locations around the sports world in the United States and around the world, and you're going to hear from the professors in those different programs and from students that are in those programs of the opportunities that you can get in those fields. So I am extremely excited and very happy to be part of this webinar and to really welcome everybody and to listen to the offerings that we have for these careers that are in the future. As our president, David Armstrong, mentioned, these careers offer experiential learning while you are in school. And experiential learning is the quickest and most secure way to get a job once you finish college. So we encourage, well, we mandate all of our students to have experiential learning at St. Thomas University. And I encourage everybody to listen carefully to these offerings. And if you have further questions, do not hesitate in contacting St. Thomas University. So I welcome everybody, and go Bobcats.
Thank you very much, Dean Fernandez, for your kind remarks. And also, I would like to welcome all our dual enrollment Catholic high schools in South Florida that they are joining us today in this webinar event. Thank you very much for being here with us. And we are sure that through the presentations that we have today, you will get additional insights about these 21st century go-to-market skills degrees. And I would like to introduce today a legend in South Florida and a legend in sports management. Today, we have with us not just the professor of sports management, Professor Laura Corley Todd, but also we have one of our best students that we have had in St. Thomas University, an accomplished, not just a student, but also athlete, Mike Leon. Professor Corley Todd, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here with us. Mike, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Professor Rocha, for having us. I know Mike is in the middle of training and getting ready for nationals with the track team here at St. Thomas, but I'm very blessed to have him with me because he comes from a Catholic high school next door. And I'm going to allow him to give his little brief introduction after I share my screen to show you our PowerPoint. So if you would, I'd like to go ahead and say a little bit more about sports administration here in the Gus Machado College of Business. And yes, in the business of sports, we come through the business College of Business because sports is about money, making money, selling advertising, selling TV rights, sponsorships, etc. So I'm going to give you a little bit more backgrounds with our degree. So about sports administration, like Dean Fernandez said, we are a pioneer. We started the first undergraduate sports administration program in the country. And then from there, we went on and to offer not just our undergraduate, but graduate degrees, both MS and MBA, a law with an MBA specialization, and now doctorate degrees. And St. Thomas has sports administration alumni all over the world, not just because we were a pioneer, but we are a pioneer on how we deliver our sports administration courses. Again, because we are in the College of Business, we are able to take that to a much different level. So what can you do with the sports administration degree? So since we're in Miami and we are in the middle of basketball season, I chose this picture of the Miami Heat because it gives you an idea of all the various possibilities that there are with this degree. So if you're taking a look at the court itself, you see different sponsorships there. So that's an avenue in sports administration where you're a sports marketer, your sponsorship sales, and then you see all the fans in the stands. Well, that's a job too, ticket sales. Then you have the suites, and that's another corporate sponsorship and also suites sales. And then just take a look at the Jumbotron. Look at that big screen with the graphics. That's also another possibility in sports administration. So taking that and graphic design and putting it all onto the scoreboards, the Jumbotrons, all the electronic signs that happen in the arena. And then there's people that have to announce the game. So in fact, one of the extra announcers for the Heat, when the original announcer has a conflict, is one of our sports administration alums, Luis Perez. So he's a backup announcer for the Heat. So there's that option too. Then what about the broadcast of the game? So somebody's got to do the videos. They got to upload that so you can see it on the scoreboard, so you can see it, you know, on Fox and Valley Sports and whatever, ESPN and whatever channels. So these are all different job possibilities. But then taking a little bit of Professor Rocha's area is data analytics. So how do we get better at being the best coach? Well, we look at analytics, player data, but how do we also increase our capacity in the arenas and stadiums and selling the most tickets? That's also a little bit about data analytics. And then how do we also reach more fans? Well, that takes a whole social media look at it and a data analytics and marketing. So these are all different jobs in addition to your athletic directors, your GMs, your vice presidents, your scouts, etc. So there's so many possibilities with the sports administration degree. And with that, I want to highlight some of the things that we do here in sports administration. We, as part of the degree program, you have to do internships. We encourage it. Experiential learning is very high on our radar to get you out there and give you internship possibilities. And we have great partnerships with Inter Miami FC, the Dolphins, the Heat, the Panthers, the Marlins, and of course, like the Miami Open, Hard Rock Stadium. We've got Homestead Speedway, different parks and recreation areas. We have, the sky is the limit. So we definitely push our students out there to network. Networking is key. And also giving you some experience so you can build your resume. And in my class, even in the introduction of sports class, I had about 13 guest speakers just to go over every area that there is with sports administration, to not only give you a little snapshot about what people do for a living in sports administration, but also to gain your network so that you really have a strong idea and a sense of who you should talk to and who you should network with, and maybe some additional internship possibilities. And I'd like to take this opportunity to give you an idea of some of our notable STU alums. So Andy Ellisberg happens to be one of our most outstanding alums that gives back all the time. He not only donates his time, but donates funding. He's really big into our sports administration program, and he happens to be the Senior Vice President of Basketball Operations and the GM of the Miami Heat. David Gettleman is a GM of the New York Giants. Al Avila is the Executive VP of Baseball Operations and the GM of the Detroit Tigers. And a great friend of mine is Blake James, Director of Athletics at University of Miami. Also a really good alum happens to be Mike Leone. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Mike, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about his experience. Mike is about to be a double major at St. Thomas. He finished his undergraduate degree, went off in the workforce a little bit, and came back as an assistant coach for our cross country and track and field, and now is getting a graduate degree. So Mike, I'm going to turn the floor over to you to give the interested students some idea of where you came from and how you settled upon being a sports administration major.
Thank you, Laura. Just to kind of piggyback off what you said, yeah, I did go to a Catholic high school right next door at Pace. I kind of came upon St. Thomas. Yes, I was an athlete. They were starting a cross country and track and field team at the time, but to me, that wasn't kind of the most important thing. It was kind of what I wanted to get my degree in at the time. So I kind of looked into the school, saw that the sports administration program was probably one of the best in the nation, and it was one of the first when it first started. So that was one of the big key factors, which kind of made me go to St. Thomas. And since I've gotten there, everything has been pretty much what I expected and a little bit more. So just to give an example, they have done so much to get you into the workforce even before you've graduated. So like my first sports administration networking reception, which I don't think she mentioned, but I'll just go over, is where they get a lot of the people from local sports agencies, from parks and recs to college athletics to all the way to professional athletics, to tell you all the different sports jobs, tell you what's open at the time. Me being a freshman, I didn't know at the time, so I didn't really speak much there. But as the years passed on, as I learned through class, it's all about networking and who you know and kind of the marketing mix. And being down here is a perfect spot for sports administration, which is why St. Thomas has been so successful at being one of the leaders in the sports administration field. But just some opportunities that St. Thomas has given me to go out in the workforce was, I worked at the NASCAR Speedway, as she mentioned, as an usher. So I kind of got to see the inner workings of that event. I've worked in parks and recreations for about 3 years now. COVID kind of shook things up a little bit, so I'm not there anymore. But I've also done many other things also on campus as well to kind of see what I did like. I was very intrigued at what Laura used to do as the athletic director. That's one of the career paths I would want to choose to go down in the future. That's why I'm coaching now and kind of those things. And just where I'm at right now, kind of through St. Thomas's, I work for the Miami Heat as a guest service representative right now. So every home game I'm there kind of doing various different things, kind of helping everybody get to where they need to go, get to their seats, helping disabled people sometimes. But I mean, that's just another opportunity that I'm currently doing. In the near future, I'll probably get an opportunity with the Marlins as a health screening coordinator. So stay tuned for that. But I mean, besides that, that's almost everything I have to say about what this program meant to me and what it has done for me.
Thank you, Michael. So Professor Rocha, that's it. We can wait until the very end for more question and answers as we go through the other majors.
Thank you very much. Well, the next area that we would like to talk is one of the most fascinating areas that we are having nowadays in business. And this area is well known in business as the new oil in the world. And the new oil in the world, it is data. Let me just share very briefly my screen in terms of what we are doing in St. Thomas University in terms of business data analytics. At the end of the day, what we are doing is jumping into the fourth industrial revolution, that it is the interconnected world of IoT, Internet of Things, and the rest of society. In terms of what? In terms not just about business data analytics, big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and automatization, but also how our students, they can be better prepared to do not be number crunchers, but to be decision makers. And at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is to prepare our students in a better way in terms of what? Of the knowledge economy. Just like Peter Drucker was sharing with us, knowledge has become the key economic resource and the dominant and perhaps the only source of competitive advantage. And because of this, the businesses that they are trying to look for that competitive advantage, competitive edge, they are having new pressures in terms of doing more with less, increasing customer expectations, managing risk and fraud. But what we are living nowadays, that we are living in businesses at the speed of when? Right now. And that's why business data analytics, it has become a competitive edge for businesses in such a way that we are offering our students a wide variety of classes and programs that walk them through the business analytics experience in terms of descriptive, diagnostic, prescriptive, and predictive analytics. Saying that, we invite today several of our most amazing students that they have gone through the business data analytics classes that we offer in St. Thomas University, and they have developed unique final projects in their classes. I would like to introduce in first place, Miss Trinity Dunbar, that she has done very interesting and amazing projects in these classes. Trinity, can you share with us what have you done in your classes? What have you learned and why business analytics is such a unique field for business?
Hi, my name is Trinity. I am a finance major and a senior at St. Thomas University. I'm from Jacksonville, so I came to St. Thomas to on a track and field scholarship to run track. And I honestly wasn't even introduced to data analytics until my junior year of school, and it was most definitely like a culture shock. It was an eye opener, especially for me because I'm an entrepreneur and I got to see how business data analytics is used as a business owner and in different fields of business. Working with Professor Rocha, I got to see how business data analytics can be also used in social media trends, how you run your business in social media, how you run your business as far as market segmenting to your consumers. Everything like that is used in data analytics. Also, from doing projects just on where the COVID-19, we're in a global pandemic, we're all experiencing it. And business data analytics helps us to really market segment our age groups, our demographics, those are demographics that are specific to our loved ones, and see how we can help them and help ourselves by just using this one major field. So this major field of business data analytics is literally used in every aspect of life that you see. As Professor mentioned, it's also used in sports, all of our sports. We had a lot of sports projects where they analyzed different teams and even teams of St. Thomas, and we got to really see what the team could do better from an academic standpoint. What can they do? What can they fix, etc. So it's all around us, and having a wonderful professor like Professor Rocha, who does get to, you have a great relationship with him. He guides you and helps you to understand, and definitely he is the definition of lighting a fire under your behind. He will most definitely help you and make sure that you deep dive into all the information to find your sources and to make sure you get the best outcome possible to not only help in your projects, to help in your daily life around you and your own business. So this field of data analytics is very, very important in just a regular life, not only in just business itself.
Thank you, Trinity, for sharing your experiences with us. And now we go from South Florida, Miami, all the way down to Brazil with one of our best students that we have had in our program. And now he's doing his master's in big data and analytics, Mr. Enzo Migliano. Enzo, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Rasha. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Enzo, and I'm an international student from Brazil. And I went to St. Thomas because it's in South Florida. It's lots of diversity in culture. And I also got a scholarship to play in the tennis team. And I was exposed to the data analytics when I took the classes with Dr. Rocha. And for the first two classes that I took with him were quantitative analysis for decision making and management information system. And I had no idea what would those classes be about until I was there. I had somewhat what would be about data analytics, but it's not only the theory that is taught in the classes. We had lots of opportunities to go and have hand-on experiences. In the quantitative analysis for decision making, me and the other group members, we were assigned and we were able to do a project with a non-disclosure agreement with a big company in South Florida, where we were helping that big company to find target markets where they could expand their sales and their profit. And that really taught us not only the theoretical part, but how to deliver what you're learning in the classes. Also, in those classes, we had opportunities such as to go to events where there are big companies and big trends, such as Emerge Americas, that is a big event in Miami. And Dr. Rocha always makes sure that the students had the possibility to participate in those events, as well as, for example, volunteering in the Miami Open and really learning how everything operates in there and having the insight of the operations of those organizations. Also, in the following semester, I had the opportunity of them presenting the project that I did with the non-disclosure agreement to the organization that really was fomenting the data analytics in St. Thomas, that is Strata, and we presented our project to the Strata organization, and Dr. Russia invited me as well to the academic competition that was in Canada. And so me and other two students, we actually the group was of 5 students, but me and 2 other students, we presented this in Canada. We had lucky that we did this before the pandemic, so we actually got to travel there and was in Ottawa. Was the International Leadership Association, the case competition, and we had to do a solution for a problem in society using the theories from leadership. So the program that we have in St. Thomas, that I was in St. Thomas, is really focused not only in theory but hands-on and with professors that inspire. Lots of professors, they really have their heart in the subject that they are teaching, so much so that I got really interested in data analytics because of Professor Rusher, and now I'm doing a master's in big data analytics also in St. Thomas. So that's pretty much everything that I'd like to say about. my experience.
Thank you very much, Enzo. And also, let me share with you that the team of Enzo in Canada, in this International Leadership Association, we won third place in the world. So it's just kind of in St. Thomas University, we provide these kind of experiences so we can make our students succeed. And from Brazil, we are going to travel all the way down to the south of Latin America, to Argentina, and with one of our best students and mentors of other students, Mr. Tobias Rodriguez, who happens to be also nowadays the Estrada Grant Graduate Assistant. Welcome, Tobias. Thank you for being with us today.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for the introduction, Professor Rocha. So, as Professor said, I'm Tobias. I'm the Strada Grant student now. I'm doing my master's in Big Data Analytics at St. Thomas. I graduated last semester on December with my business undergraduate. And now, as I say, I'm doing my master's. I was introduced as Trinity to data analytics late in my senior year with my first class with Professor Rocha, and I kind of fell in love with it. Right in second, Rocha had us doing, me and my group, a presentation with big data analytics, and the fact that he was really broad with what we could do the project on. Me and my team, we chose the women's soccer team, but we could choose all the other teams in St. Thomas. So we chose a women's soccer team. That was for my first class. We did the project and everything went great. We had to present it for their coach. And then my second semester, I did another class with Professor Rocha. And this time for the group project, I did, I think I did it by myself. I did women basketball and everything went great. Rocha facilitated all the resources for the project. And then I was able to present the project for the women's basketball coach. And after that, I've been doing, I actually got a job at a company called Stats Perform, which what I do is I do all the data collecting for the soccer teams in Miami, which are Miami FC, Fort Lauderdale FC, and Inter Miami. So what I do is I go out to every soccer game in that they play at their home field, and I kind of collect all the data in real time. Also, I've been doing, I recently presented a project for my master's degree that is on what makes an NBA team win games. So I did a little bit of regression analysis on different factors that affect that have an impact on NBA teams and their success. And then apart from school, I did a project on my own for a company that works with soccer players. So what they got me doing was a little project on seeing what players can replace other players. So they were trying to find I remember it was an under 23 defender for one team in Europe. And they had me looking at data and seeing if there was any player that could easily replace that guy. So thanks to Rocha, I've done a lot of things and a lot of data analytics, and that's about it.
No. Thank you. And then the last one, a current student that this week present his final business data analytics project, Federico David. The floor is yours.
Hello, how are you? Good evening for all. I have presented my first project with Rocha. It was about COVID-19. It was a really good experience. I have a teammate that they were like completely different because of time and a lot of things that was really difficult. But I think that we have presented well. We do a lot of research. I have known Rocha because of the things that we all know, that he's a very good professor and he always like is pushing in order to get you better. So we have done a COVID project where we have engaging with diabetes, and basically what we was trying to show is like a lot of people that is getting COVID that has already existing illnesses, healthy problems. There was like more more risky to have COVID and probably die. And I have known that we recollect a lot of data and was like really interesting, and I enjoyed a lot. I have a second class with Rocha the following semester, so we will see how we perform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. I really appreciate you took the time to be here with us. And I would like to introduce a very, very special professor that we are very lucky to have at the Gus Machado School of Business. This professor, she has put her own brand and print in the Gus Machado School of Business. Besides that, she is one of the most fast forward professors in St. Thomas University. And she specializes in one of the most interesting industries that is developing in South Florida as the speed of now, and within the creative arts. I would like to introduce with you Professor Ashley Wright Siski, Assistant Professor of the Gus Machado School of Business, and the professor that is leading the efforts of our school into fashion and fashion merchandising. Ashley, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Professor Rocha. I appreciate the wonderful introduction, and I'm so happy to be with you today. I want to make sure that I mention that I also have the Claudia Rego, who is from the company Designers, who I'm going to have talk a little bit about fashion in Miami, but she's one of the most talented people I've met thus far here in Miami. And she also serves as part of the advisory committee that is part of the strategic vision of really growing the program of fashion merchandising at St. Thomas. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started talking about the new program, which is going to launch this year. And our first class will be coming in this fall. So we're really excited about the opportunity. And so the degree is going to be Bachelor of Arts in Fashion Merchandising. And as Professor Rocha mentioned, I am the acting program director, and I also have with us Claudia Rego from the company Designers, and she's going to talk a little bit more about the fashion world in Miami. As Professor Rocha mentioned, we are aligned with the Gus Machado College of Business. And I think it's important for me to mention this because a lot of people have the misconception that fashion merchandising is design. In actuality, it is business. So I wanted to provide some clarification on what fashion merchandising is. First of all, making the clear distinction that it is the business side of the industry. So we are the individuals that work with designers, but we actually take it out to the market. And so I like to tell students that it's part fashion, style, and creativity, but also mixed with business and analytical skills. And I'm really excited because I think we are aligned perfectly with, obviously we talked about business analytics, and that's part of the fashion industry, but also all the wonderful things that sports administration does as well. It is perfectly aligned with the other degrees here in St. Thomas University. But essentially, what will students learn to do as part of the degree? They'll learn how to buy, sell, develop, market fashion products all around the world. So it depends on who your target market is. It could be wholesalers, it could be retailers, it could be the consumer. And so your target market can be a wide variety of different end users. So President Armstrong mentioned very briefly about this magical college experience. And I want to make sure that I allude to that because I think having a magical college experience helps to set you up for success after you graduate from St. Thomas. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the things that makes us distinctive, especially part of the fashion merchandising program. The number one reason that really we can provide that magical experience to students is mentoring faculty. And this is just not me alone. This is talking about all the faculty that are part of St. Thomas University community. And so we do have a 12-to-1 student to teacher ratio. And why is that important? You get hands-on approach when it comes to faculty advising, when it comes to their availability. I was just on a call earlier today with a student that has an assignment due for me, and I was on a Teams meeting with him for an hour and a half. So our goal is to make sure that we set you up for success. So when you graduate, you have all the tools and resources at your disposal. So I think it's really important to make that distinction. The second element that makes us a very magical experience is obviously, I think what we do very, very well at St. Thomas is character formation. And why is that important? Again, we want to make sure that we set you up for success after you graduate from St. Thomas. So we set you up with a lot of different activities that are proven to be able to help you build character. So we have sports, obviously, we have all kinds of social and cultural activities and clubs that are available, academic clubs, and we also have curriculum that's set up to help you succeed and build character. One of which you probably are guessing why I have a microphone. We do have curriculum that incorporates elements of overcoming some of the biggest fears. This is which is obviously public speaking. And so in my public speaking for the fashion industry course, we talk about overcoming public speaking, but also working in groups and be able to present with groups. And again, when you graduate from St. Thomas, you're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to work with people. And so these are the types of skills that you will acquire as being a student at St. Thomas. The last thing I will mention is experiential learning. That's a theme that we keep on hearing all throughout the presentation today. And one of the really great things that we do offer at St. Thomas, and Professor Laura Todd actually mentioned all the great speakers that she had as part of her classes. She mentioned 13, and that's one of the great things that we have at our fingertips. We have industry speakers that can come in as guest speakers. And we also provide all kinds of different out of the classroom experiences as well. So I'm a big proponent of hands-on learning, taking you outside the classroom, getting the opportunity to see things that we teach in the classroom. So for example, this is a picture or illustration of the designer's manufacturing facility. So we'll get those opportunities. I also will mention that not only are you assessed based on tests and papers, we do have a lot of projects that are more hands-on. And so I think these are also important elements to be able to ensure that you are actually putting into practice what you're learning in the classroom. Here's some examples of some projects that the students learn as part of the fashion merchandising program. The top 3 illustrations demonstrate how fashion design is done today. No longer do you really see people behind a mannequin and putting fabric on the mannequin and sewing. It's actually done by computer aid design. And so students will be able to learn how to do that. We call these specifications. And these are the types of things that are sent to manufacturers to be able to actually produce. So this is an illustration of the things that the students get to do as part of the fashion merchandising program. And on the right-hand side, this is an illustration of another project as part of the Intro to the Fashion Industry, where you have to analyze the fashion runway shows and be able to predict some of the major themes that are going to be going on the following season. So lots of hands-on opportunities. I also teach a career preparation class, which is the capstone course of the fashion merchandising curriculum, where you'll get the opportunity to have mock interviews. You get to have people actually provide some expertise about your resume. So lots of opportunity to make sure that you are successful after you graduate. The last thing I will mention in regards to what experiential learning we offer is international travel. Obviously, fashion merchandising is a global arena. And so it's important that we incorporate that as part of the curriculum. And so students have the opportunity to travel internationally every other year. And so we already have a trip planned to London and Paris in 2023. Also, all the great opportunities here in Miami that we have available for experiential learning. We have students that are going to be working at the Miami Swim Week, where they're going to be working behind the scenes with the models and actually getting the fashion shows going. And so lots of experiential opportunities right here in Miami. And lastly, the students are required to do internships as part of the curriculum. And so there's all kinds of different opportunities here in Miami where you can actually pursue an internship. So I think the question that all of us are trying to get answered is, what happens after you graduate? What are you prepared to do? And the great thing about fashion merchandising is that there are a wide variety of careers that you can pursue. And this is just a tiny bit of the things that you can pursue after you graduate from St. Thomas with a degree in fashion merchandising, one of which is fashion forecasting. And so when you're a producer or you are a manufacturer, you have to get ideas of what exactly the consumers are going to want. And fashion forecasting companies provide information on trends, patterns, silhouettes, colors, all those kinds of things that are provided 2 to 3 years in advance that the actual manufacturers can help be able to steer what exactly the consumers are going to want. A fashion buyer is one of the more common jobs that fashion merchandising students pursue. So for example, you could work for a department store like Macy's, and you can work in the menswear department, and you could actually be a buyer for menswear ties, where you'll travel to different wholesalers and showrooms to be able to see different merchandise that you'll bring back to sell in your store. And so your goal is to try to find the products that you think the consumers are going to want based on your target market. You also have fashion journalism, which I think has really taken a different shift the past decade or so, where you used to have a lot of fashion magazines that are available, but now this has become more digital. And we also have seen blogging become a huge area that a lot of students are also pursuing. Product development is another area that you can pursue. Well, this is essentially, you have to know your target market, and then you work with designers and you work with your financial team to be able to determine what are products that your customers are going to buy. And so this is more of, in my opinion, the design area of the fashion industry. And then I would be remiss if I didn't say, big time, we're seeing more and more graduates pursue social media marketing, advertising. And so that's why we are aligned with the business college, because essentially you are in need to be able to have basic business knowledge, especially marketing. And then lastly, a couple other types of careers that you can pursue is styling, which is on the right-hand side. You can style for lifestyle magazines. You can style for food magazines. There's a lot of different types of jobs that you can go to and pursue when it comes to styling. And on the left-hand side, it actually shows visual merchandising. So in a lot of department stores, they really use visual merchandising as a tool to lure people into the store, but you also have different visual displays. A former student of mine actually is the main designer or visual merchandiser manager for Target stores. And so when you walk into a store like Target, you'll see all the different displays and they all look the same. So they create something called a planogram, which allows all the stores to have consistency. So these are just some of the jobs that are available when it comes to fashion merchandising. But one person that I really want to share and have some of her expertise shared with you is Claudia Rego, who is the designer, CEO, and partner of the Manufacturer Designers. So I'm going to stop my share and then just ask Claudia some questions that she feels would be obviously relative to our conversation today. So thank you, Claudia, for being with us today. Really appreciate your time. The first question I have for you is, why do you think that fashion merchandising and a fashion merchandising degree would be so important here in Miami? Oh, Claudia, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a real honor. It's so fascinating to hear all the stories. I really love it, and the way that you explain it also, oh my God, it really makes me want to go back and experience all that again. But it's good that in Miami now, St. Thomas University is offering this opportunity to students. Amazing. The fashion merchandising, as you mentioned, is not only about designing, it's not only about creating, it's a lot more than that. It's extremely important because it goes with the business. It's about how to bring a product to the market. That's how I see it in my way, how to bring the product to the market, because it doesn't matter what you create or what you buy or what you sell, everything needs to go through an entire process. And that process is, for example, you have to go through a different stage of process where you need to go, the develop, the source, the supplies, the branding, everything, and where you need your social media. And being here in Miami is kind of the mecca, let's say, for the fashion industry, because that's what we're getting and heading into that. So it's extremely important. But the good thing is all the stage that the students are learning how to get there, because it's not only the thing of doing a sketch and you put it in the market. It's a lot of process you have to go in order to get on what you want. And my industry, for example, I'm just part of that. I'm just a tiny bit of that industry, which the designers or whoever comes to us have the opportunity to create, to being creative. But it's a lot more than being creative. You have the opportunity to mix it with business and a lot of analytics that you guys were talking about it. And also, and this times, the social media, which is extremely, extremely important nowadays.
Thank you, Claudia. It's so true. But I obviously I think fashion has definitely changed in Miami. Why do you think fashion is really important in Miami, and why do you think that's the case?
We notice a lot of fashion designers, very important fashion designers, are moving to Miami. It has a lot of advantages. The place, the location, because we have the Miami port, which a lot of things from different countries can come, or the airport, which is very international. We can bring things from South America, from Central America, from Bangladesh, from China. Everything can come, China can come here in the United States. And the Miami is one of the most important places that you can use to bring your product. That's one of the things also very important. Also, how is it moving as far as business? The fashion weeks that we have in Miami, stores, everything that is moving through here, it's growing. It's growing, and we see a lot of people, not only that, but people moving to Miami. That is increasing business. All business that are moving, and especially in fashion, is growing a lot. We see a lot of increase. In my business, I see a lot of increase in this industry at this moment.
So the last thing I want to ask you, Claudia, is if a student comes through St. Thomas and they graduate, what type of advice would you give to a graduate that has gone through St. Thomas and actually gets a degree? What advice would you give to them?
Oh, it's very important to get your degree, because that's learning the tools in this business is extremely important. Otherwise, unfortunately, it's not that you're going to fail, but you're going to tend to lose a lot of things, money, time, which is very important in this business, because if you don't know how to do things, it becomes more complicated. Maybe you're going to get there, but it's going to take a lot longer. And getting your time and your money. So going through this program, fashion merchandising program, it will help you to go through all this process, all the stages that you need to learn, because it's not only one, it's so many stages as you put them together when you were explaining. It's very important to go through all that in order to be successful in this business. Otherwise, you're going to be going from one place to another and taking a lot longer. What could it take you? Probably 5 months or a couple of months to develop. It might take you a year or 2 years, because you need to learn how to do it. Going through this program, of course, it will take you there. It's harder. It's hard because you need to learn a lot, but it will guarantee success in your business.
Oh, thank you, Claudia. And I do want to mention that Claudia is also part of our advisory committee that is helping me steer the program to make sure it's successful, but also mentoring students that go through the program at St. Thomas University. So Claudia, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'll turn it back to Professor Rocha.
My pleasure.
Professor Raisiski, Claudia, thank you very much for sharing with us what fashion merchandising is and which are the exciting opportunities that we have for our students at St. Thomas University. Definitely a field to go in, and an exciting field that merge with the capital of the Americas, South Florida and Miami. Last but not least, we have two very special guests that they are part of that magical experience that we have in St. Thomas University. And we have our directors of the choir and the band, Mr. Dylan Kester and Miss Elizabeth Turner. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jose. We appreciate being here. We won't take up too much time. We just wanted to tell everyone a little bit about our new music programs here at St. Thomas, which is very exciting. I'm Elizabeth Turner, the director of choir. We welcome students of all levels, all skills, whether you've been singing for 20 years or you're looking to get back into music for the first time, you're welcome to join our choir. We do all types of music, from musical theater, classical, jazz, liturgical music, R&B, all styles of music are appreciated. We're currently an elective class. It's 1 credit. We meet 3 times a week, and we do performances. So despite the pandemic, we were able to do around 10 different performances this semester, singing at the masses, the national anthem at the basketball games. We did an event for Black History Month, a Christian rock concert. And in the fall, we're definitely looking for outside opportunities within the community as well. We're kicking musical theater off this fall, which is very, very exciting. So if you sing, act, dance, if you're involved in costumes, hair, makeup, light, sound, the whole thing, there's definitely going to be an opportunity for you to lead in music at the campus. And if you're interested in auditioning, I'll send my email here in the chat. You can hook up an audition with us. Nothing too scary. You can just sing your favorite song for us, either in person, by video, or on Zoom. And I'll let Dylan here tell you about our bands.
Wonderful. Thank you, Liz. And thank you, Professor Rocha, for giving us this opportunity this evening. I'm Dylan Kester, and I'm the Director of Bands here at St. Thomas University. And I'm incredibly excited to be here tonight. One of the amazing things about St. Thomas is that no matter what your major is, you have the opportunity to join our musical programs. So you don't have to silo yourself within a single college or a single school. You have that opportunity to join what's a very comprehensive musical program. So specifically about bands, I'm steadfast, and perhaps I'm a little biased, but I'm steadfast in my belief of band being one of the foundational elements of a university experience. And we provide all sorts of band opportunities at this university. So next year, things that you would have to look forward to include the St. Thomas University Marching Band that will perform at all home football games, the Bobcat Basketball Band for community events, basketball games, volleyball games, and our St. Thomas University Concert Band, who actually just had their premiere inaugural performance at the Bobcat Palooza this past weekend. So as I said, a very comprehensive experience that will offer classical concert opportunities, pop, rock, hip hop opportunities, and the pep bands and marching bands, and what I think is a very well-rounded musical experience. So if you have any questions or you're searching for information about our musical or band opportunities, you can go to www.stu.edu/band or stu.edu/choir to find out more information about all of these programs. And we really hope you'll join in the fall. So I'll hand it back over to Professor Rocha, and thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Dylan and Elizabeth. I strongly believe that activities outside the classroom, such as our choir, such as our band, they play an extremely important role in character formation. And do you accept faculty?
Of course.
Of course. If you don't want to suit up in a marching band uniform, join us for concert band. That's totally fine.
Thank you for being here with us. And we will have our last remarks of this webinar event. 1 minute, Trinity, which final remarks can you share with all of us tonight?
Hi guys. I would really just say that St. Thomas is a great place to definitely go to school if you want a very personal experience as far as your education goes. And like I said, I didn't even get introduced into data analytics until my junior year. So you have all this time to build these personal relationships with your professors to expand your mind in different aspects of education. And during this time when you're maturing and getting older outside of school, you can implement these things that you learn in class from your professors, from your relationship with your professors into your actual daily lives. And you see how important these vital skills are to be successful in any aspect. You don't have to just stick to one thing in school. Everything correlates to a bigger picture. So definitely stay open-minded and find a way to make all of these subjects work for you and help you progress in life and things that you love. So definitely come join.
Thank you, Trinity. Enzo.
I will definitely say that St. Thomas was an amazing experience from the academics perspective, from all the friendships that I made, from the networking that I got, from the inspiration that I got from the professors. from the academic experiences, such as presenting amazing projects and also clubs that I was part of. For example, I also had the chance to be in the psychology club where we did amazing events for the students and really show me everything that I am today, and I learned a lot from everyone in St. Thomas. So I only have to say thanks to everything that St. Thomas provided me with.
Thank you, Enzo, and we are looking forward to see you back on campus. Finally, Professor Kirkley, do you have any final remarks for tonight's event?
I don't really have to say much. You have these wonderful students that are in the audience that have pretty much said it all. And I've been proud to work with them in many different ways. And so incredibly proud now to see them in their remarks and what they had to say. So I think they give you the full picture of what we really are at St. Thomas, and we are about those students. So thank you all for doing such a wonderful job tonight.
Thank you, Professor Kirkley. And finally, Professor Wright, can you share with us some final remarks in tonight's webinar event?
What I will say is, obviously, I haven't had any opportunity to have graduates that have gone through my fashion merchandising program at St. Thomas, but just hearing the successes from the other programs, I'm so excited for the opportunity to have students come through the program and matriculate and be able to graduate and go on to wonderful things, because there's no doubt in my mind that St. Thomas will set up any student for success, because we truly do offer that magical college experience. Everything that we mentioned that tonight, even the students that have talked about the opportunities that they've had on campus with clubs, organizations, mentoring with the faculty, the experiential learning with all the different things that they have access to. There's no doubt in my mind that students come through St. Thomas do have that magical college experience, and they graduate to wonderful things. We have obviously exhibited that here tonight. So all I can say is, if anybody has any questions about the fashion merchandising program, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. But I'm so grateful for the opportunity, and I'm definitely amongst really wonderful people here tonight. And obviously they exhibited that. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Raisiski. And finally, I would like to ask Dr. Luis Fernandez Torres, our academic dean, to share with us some concluding remarks in tonight's webinar event.
Thank you, Professor Rocha, Jose, and thank you to Professor Raisiki, Professor Courtney Todd, also to our band director, Dylan, and our choir director, Liz Turner, who is a student also, by the way, of one of our EDD graduate programs. All I want to say is, when you are considering what are you going to do in the future, think about it this way. The career you're thinking of may be available, may be going on right now, or maybe a career that's not created yet. The main thing is you want to be able to have those skills, those critical thinking skills, those analytic skills, those communication and people skills to communicate, to be able to perform any job at any place. The three careers that we presented here, don't think about them as that you get boxed in that career, because you will not. Those skills that you learned in these tracks, data analytics, sports administration, fashion merchandising, those skills that you learn there are going to translate not only in that area, but in many other areas. So when you get to college, very likely you're not going to know what you want to do, or you have an idea, but you're going to change. All students do that. Don't think you're the only one changing or not being clear on what you want to do as a major. That happens to everybody. So I encourage you to please look at what is your passion and what you want to do. So please go to www.stu.edu/apply, APPLY. There's our application right there. Apply to St. Thomas University. Our admissions teams will be very glad to reach out and talk to you. And also we have fantastic financial aid available for many of our students. So thank you for being listening to this webinar, and God bless and go Bobcats.
Thank you very much, Dr. Luis Fernandez. Thank you to all our keynote speakers. And we really appreciate your attendance to our trending careers for Gen Z, go-to-market skills for 21st century jobs. Thank you, good evening, and go Bobcats.